Okay.
Watch out.
What's going on?
Yeah, so California, man, Los Angeles. I was reading Black California's Black Pioneers. Now wait, how's the book going? How's the book coming? Because we
What book?
um that book you told me about. I got my copy, you got your copy, and we're supposed to be reading
I've been
it.
reading it. I've been reading it. Yeah, I fell off. I'm sorry. I started the first chapter, but I've read a significant portion of that book before, a few years ago.
Okay.
So I wanted to do like some sort of like story or play or film about Central Ave. So I got that book and I read it. It was pretty fascinating. But what I did read in the prologue, I loved the part about the the
Yeah.
smiling faces.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty powerful. It was pretty visual too.
I mean, that's what it was for me. I was in Korea and they were like, "Can you please smile more?" In hindsight, I understand their perspective, but I'm also like, no, not really. I'm more concerned with well, I don't know what the hell I don't know what the hell made me so grumpy because I was living the life. They were catering to me and I don't know.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I
Have you
mean,
been have you been asked to smile? Have you felt that? Have you
no, not really.
Hmm.
I think in the context of the book, though, it was like the smiling faces that were masking the anger of being a black person in America during that time, where they had to basically serve white people all the time. So it was that context.
Well, Spike Lee addressed that in X, Malcolm X's movie with the porter.
Yeah,
Was it a porter? The
yeah. He was a porter. Yep.
Pullman porter?
A George. And they call
Yeah,
them
a
Georges.
George. Damn. Not to have your name
Yeah.
called, but be called the George.
Just a George, man.
Come here, boy.
Come here, George.
Shit.
Another thing that I thought was powerful too, and this is only in the prologue, but they're talking about the janitor at the city hall. Did you get to that part? They're talking about the janitor at city hall as a black man, and as a result, whenever they're having talks about black issues at city hall, they would bring him in and ask him about what he thought about certain issues.
Hmm.
And so the janitor became like the janitor at city hall was like the de facto most important black person in the city because they always asked his opinion on things, which is interesting as well.
Um, that reminds me of Eugene Bouillard. All right, Eugene Bouillard was an aviator, had an illustrious career in the Air Force. He had to go to France, like so many of us had to do to get to rise to that status.
Right.
But he had an illustrious career. When he came back to America, he was an elevator operator. Seventh floor, boy.
Yeah.
10th floor. I'm off and doing my thing. And he was relegated to going up and down on this elevator until I think a nice white woman took notice and said, who are you? What's your story? He told her his story. And she said, you need to get off this. We need to get you off this elevator and we need your story told because this is not where you belong. But that's where people felt comfortable having him, you know? So,
Yeah, I recently saw a YouTube video about him. I had never heard of him.
Eugene Bouillard?
There's this white guy who did a YouTube video. He told his story. It was pretty interesting. I had never heard of him at all. So it was an interesting story. It made me think about too, like, cause he fought in World War I, I believe. I think he got part of his face blown off during that. He did during that. At least from what I heard from the story.
Eugene Bouillard?
Yep,
Wait, when you say he got his face blown off, you mean,
shot. He was shot in the face.
oh, huh.
So it made me think about like kind of like all these sacrifices we make on behalf of like Western culture, but still don't really get the full acceptance and the full rights of a human being. Well, at least back then. But so
Now I'm about to fact check that part.
he had to have facial reconstructive surgery. He got half of his mouth blown, his teeth and everything blown off in battle during World War One.
So maybe that would be the reason why people didn't want to see him in front.
No, it's probably because he was black though.
Yeah, I understand that part. I didn't hear about the,
Yeah, I
but
believe
I
I believe
figured.
so. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I had never heard of him before that, so
wow.
let me make a phone call real quick. Sorry.
All right, we'll stop.
October 9th. That's where it starts.
You see, it's the same old thing.